Hello everybody, this is the first part in my XNA map editor tutorial. So let's get started. I'm going to create a new project. Windows game called map editor. Okay. Gonna put it on the desktop so it's easier for me to find. Okay. New folder. Alright. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add a folder to my contents folder called sprites. I'm going to add the content that we're going to be using. So the content that we're going to be using is just a set of buttons. This I'm going to try and post a link in the description. It's going to tell you everything you need to know about how to get those buttons, because there's no need for you to have to do them out yourself. It didn't take me very long, it took me about 10 minutes to do them all, but there's no need for you to be able to do that. So the first thing we're going to do in the code is this sprite batch. We just want to make that public static. That means we can access it from anywhere. So, and in here we want to begin sprite batch call. So that's going to be sprite batch dot begin. And we're actually going to end this after the base.draw. And the reason for that is so that we can use this sprite batch anywhere in the program, and we won't need to begin or end the actual sprite batch. Okay. So the first class we're actually going to create is we're going to add a new folder. We're going to call it GUI, and in GUI we're going to add a new item. It's going to be a code item. It's a class. I'm going to call it button. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is using statements. We need to take these using statements. I have them over here actually, so that we can actually use the XNA framework. So we need framework, content, input, and graphics. I'm going to make this class public, and now I'm going to prototype all the methods. So this is the constructor, and it actually needs a texture called text and a vector to position. Alright. Next thing that it needs is an update function, and this button class is actually going to be overridden in the subsequent buttons, the actual specific buttons we're going to use. So this is going to be a virtual function, virtual void update. We also need a virtual function called effect, and that's going to be the event that's going to be fired anytime that the button's clicked, and it also needs a draw function. Okay, so we're going to need some variables. I have them in the project already, so I'm going to just copy and paste them in, save me writing them out. It'll stop wasting your time. So we've got a public boolean called clicked, which is false to start off with. Find out whether it's been previously clicked, that's public as well. find out whether we're hovering over it. Then we've got one to store its texture, position, and a collision rectangle, so we can tell whether the button has been clicked or not. So now we're going to update the instance variables. That's this dot texture equals text, and this dot position equals position. Right. In the update function, we want to get the collision rectangle for the button. So let's get the collision rect for the button. Okay. Collision rect equals new rectangle int position dot x int position dot y. The reason those have to be cast is because rectangles only take integers and vectors hold theirs as a float, their values as a float. So we're creating a rectangle that's the height and width of the button. So we want to get the mouse position now, and we do that with this code. You find I'm going to copy and paste a lot of code from my other project because it's a waste of your time to watch me type out all the code. I'll explain it as I'm going along. So this is the mouse state, get the state. Now we want to make a rectangle out of that, so that we can detect collisions between the collision rectangle and the mouse position. Okay, so we want to check whether we're hovering over the button or not. We do that by doing this. So if the mouse position intersects the collision rectangle, then hover is true, otherwise hover is false. Pretty easy to understand. Next we want to check if the button's clicked. Okay, so if the mouse position intersects the collision rectangle and the left button is pressed and it wasn't previously clicked, then clicked is true, otherwise clicked is false. Makes sense. So we need to update previous clicked. We do that by having prev clicked equals prev clicked or clicked. Okay, so this is an empty function for override. And let me see the draw function. So we want to draw the button. That might sound easy, and it is easy, but we're going to do something a little different as well. So if we're hovering over, then we want to draw the texture at the position with the color white. Simple. Sorry about that. Also, what we want to do is draw another version of the texture over at the position. We want to make this a new color. This is going to be an overlay so that it looks like it's glowing. So we'll make it full red, no green or blue, and we want to make it 180 alpha, so that'll make it slightly transparent. That's fine. Otherwise, we just want to draw the normal button, and that's that. So that's the end of the first part of it. Tune in for the next.